Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm going over another of my games where I piloted tanks. This is my second time using tanks, and this time I'm going up against a Cars tribal deck with Wheeljack, Prowl, and Cliffjumper. And I've actually never seen Cliffjumper before now, so it was interesting to see what his abilities are. So when he's in car mode, when you flip to it, you get to draw cards. And then when he's in robot mode, for each of your cards that are KO'd, he gains a +1. So starting out, my opponent goes first, and he swings Wheeljack into Megatron, just doing 1 damage. And in my hand, I've got an Energon Axe, 2 security checkpoints. And I think with the Blast Shield, I'm trying to think of like, okay, I can put the Energon Axe on Megatron now, but do I want to raise someone's defense? And I was thinking about putting it on Demolisher, raising his defense to allow him to flip more cards when he attacks. And especially if I'm trying to keep Megatron alive as I keep going further in the game. So I do put the shield on Demolisher, giving him 6 defense and swinging into Wheeljack. And yeah, it's just 3 attack, which is nice because last game I flipped Demolisher into robot mode and attacked, and I got 0 since this is a blue control deck. And yeah, in my head I'm trying to come up with like what my opponent's strategy might be. Wheeljack gets bold 3 in robot mode when you've got equipment in your scrap pile. Prowl is kind of a nice healer. And when you flip Prowl, he gets the bold 2 for your other cars. So I wasn't really sure what strong target to pick, and I think that was one of the mistakes I made in this game, was letting my opponent dictate the pace. So he swings into Demolisher with Cliffjumper, and he's got 12 attack there. That is a good amount of orange. That bold definitely helps. All I've got is the 8 defense, so I do take 4. And Demolisher does not have all that much health, and I gotta get rid of the shield. So I do pull the bigger they are, and I'm looking at and seeing the star values of what I might be able to attack and use that. Instead, I know my opponent's got a pretty good hand size, so I'm gonna play security checkpoint, see what they've got, get rid of some equipment, which is helpful. I don't have any equipment myself. And before I did that, I equipped the Energon Axe on Megatron. And my goal is to get some sort of big swing in. Wheeljack and Cliffjumper are pretty beefy. They've got a good amount of health. They don't have a ton of defense, but I'm trying to see what I can do, and I think I end up focusing my fire on Wheeljack, swing with Megatron, and I wasn't sure if this was absolutely the right move because I know he wants to go after Megatron, but I figure if I can 7 damage, pierce 5, if I can put another 5 damage on him, that makes me feel a little better. And then it's my opponent's turn. And he does transform Prowl. And Prowl in robot mode is when one of your cars is KO'd, repair 3 damage, but I think it's just prepping it for the flip. And because he transformed him, Cliffjumper gets to draw a card. So just building up his hand again. But yeah, I'm not sure I like the feel of the tanks deck. I like blue control, so he plays the supercharge on Prowl. So now Prowl is at bold 3, and he's trying to swing and finish off Demolisher, which odds are, yeah, I got 4 defense, he's got 9 attack. That does do the KO. And yeah, I like blue control. I really like the Nemesis control deck with Nemesis, Demolisher, and Barrage. But for whatever reason with tanks, I haven't been able to get a good feel of how that works. I'm actually thinking of next time I'm playing running double Megatrons. So then I've got the piercing laser in my hand. And Darkmount in his robot mode, if he goes up against a ranged character, he gets a +2 defense. And I think it's also prep for him going back into tank mode. And I play the piercing laser. I also play the bigger they are. And swing into Wheeljack with 7 attack, pierce 3. He's got 2 defense, so Wheeljack's almost down, which I'm feeling good about. I'm not as far behind as I felt the first time I played with the tanks deck. So he equips the debilitating crystal, which is going to allow him to bounce a card back into my hand, one of my equipment cards, which I don't want because I could have, if I had no equipment, I could play the security checkpoint next turn and try and get some stuff out again, but it'll happen. So he attacks Megatron, the Energon Axe goes back. I think not a huge deal for me at this point, but Cliffjumper is going to get his swing. Megatron's got his 4 defense. And yeah, Cliffjumper does get a big swing. He's got 13 attack. So, yeah, Megatron's close. Then it's my turn. So I pull the Crushing Treads. And now I've got a choice to make whether I put Energon Axe or Crushing Treads out. I know Piercing Laser already gives Pierce to Darkmount. Megatron has Pierce. Trying to think where I'd put the Crushing Treads. Or an Energon Axe would go back on Megatron, obviously. And I was able to, with the convert back to Darkmount, take out Wheeljack, which is nice. So, you know, Megatron's almost down, but it's not 3v2. And Darkmount swings into Cliffjumper. 5 pierce 3. Starting to put some damage on Cliffjumper, but I think at this point in the game I kind of felt like these guys, like I got the pace of the tanks, and they are going a little too slow. I just feel like, I don't know, with the Nemesis control deck with all that blue, I'm building to something. And I get Nemesis, who has a beefy swing to start out with, and he gets stronger. And I'm going through that deck quickly. Here, I just don't feel like I'm building to something, and maybe that's my misplays. But yeah, so my opponent is taking some time to think what exactly he wants to do. So Megatron will survive a turn because he has to attack Darkmount. But I don't think, like, in my head, that's not enough time to... Yeah, he gets to... Here's his combo. So he plays Start Your Engines, which lets him untap Cliffjumper, and this is a big turn for him. He transforms Prowl. He draws a card because of Cliffjumper's ability. And he's targeting Darkmount, getting rid of the Piercing Blaster. And he gets a big old swing with Cliffjumper. Now, Darkmount does flip 6 defense, but he's got 11 attacks, so that's 5 damage on Darkmount. And he he's not done now. He gets another turn to swing after Megatron attacks, which I was hoping to avoid. So I've got nothing but weapons. Put the Crushing Dragons on Megatron, might as well. So now he's got Pierce 4 plus his Pierce, is it Pierce 7, I believe, if I remember right? Which is good for me if I can, yeah, 7 Pierce 7. So now Megatron's ignoring defense. Which is, I think, what the deck is trying to get to. What Tanks is trying to get to is, like, your attack is just your Pierce. Which is what RC's ability is, which was interesting that... But I don't think the this Tanks list pulls it off well enough. And he equips the turbo boosters on a Cliffjumper, so he gets another turn. So now he's going to get 2 extra swings. So yeah, I clearly, like, he had great action economy here. I would love some feedback from anyone who's watching this. You know, I felt like in my previous Tanks game, I was able to call out some severe misplays that I made that lost me the game. Here, I felt like in general, I played a little better. I thought I had my through line of like what I was trying to do. But if you saw anything that I fucked up, I would love to learn. So let me know. And yeah, he gets to swing with Prowl at Megatron. Oh boy. And I've got, yeah, Megatron's got 3 defense, Prowl's got 7 attack. That's a kill. Then he still gets that last Cliffjumper swing onto Darkmount. And I don't have a Cliffjumper in real life, so I can't run this deck, but I'd like to at some point. And yeah, there's a big old swing on 13 attack onto Darkmount. And that's game. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch y'all on the next game.